Welcome, one and all, to another episode of The Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
Here we are. We're going live. Apologies for being a little bit behind schedule. We actually jumped into this platform just prior to going live to film a couple of bonus reviews for our Slipknot / whatever else Halloween special. We're still in the process of putting the finishing touches on. So apologies for being a little bit late. We did get some questions going on what's happening. So here we are. That's the reason why we're running a little bit later than we planned on being tonight. Excuse me, while my throat just goes to shit all of a sudden. Wow. Okay, it's going well. So tonight we're going to be covering off the latest from Mastodon, Jerry Cantrell, and Aussie band Spacegoat. We're going to have a hot topic and all sorts of stuff very, very soon. Like the chat tonight's going to be about, bands for recording stuff. We'll have some hard rock happenings with some singles and that as well coming up. But yeah, make sure you're following us. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the usual things. If you, whatever, just get involved, interact with us, all those things. All the details to follow us are in the post or the description. Whether you're tuning in live or later on, we do appreciate your company. Give us a follow. Stay up to date what we're doing. And if you'd be so kind, please check out our fantastic sponsors as well in Squidding, Scrimping, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Their details, just like ours, are in the post, description, whatever else you want to call it. And a big shout out to them for their support. And if you want to help us out, please check out our Patreon page to do that. We're plugging this thing at the moment. We're going to keep driving it a bit harder now over the next month in particular. It's a gold coin thing. So if you can spare a couple of bucks a month and you want to get sort of 50 bits of information sent to you a week, could be 50 new songs or just bits and pieces of gossip, and that goes behind the scenes. There's a lot that goes in that little list that we go together. So there's a lot there. So do that, check it out. And all the people that are in the Patreon page will have seen those ones coming through daily, and it's a lot. So you get a lot of value for a couple of bucks there. So you get to vote on things like the classic albums that we do on Thursdays as well. So there's a heap there. But anyway, I'm waffling. Dave, how you going, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a busy day. And we're all back to normal. Kids are back at work. Kids are back at school. I'm back at work. I sometimes wish it was the other way around, obviously. Oh, man, I got a feeling tonight's going to go pear-shaped really quickly.
Condoning slave labor? Child labor?
Well, they probably have more fun at work. Yeah, my daughter's going on camp soon. I'd love to go on camp, but not going to be. Coolest thing is we had Halloween
in the wax factory.
What's that?
Could you imagine your kids in the wax factory?
Yeah, they just open up all the valves and then all the wax pour all over the floor and be like,
oh, that'd be awesome.
Disastrous.
It could be funny video, though.
Oh, it would be. I'd make it happen one day. But yeah, we had Halloween yesterday. We didn't go trick-or-treating, just being cautious at the moment. So we just had a family Halloween, decorated and dressed up. I got to be Dracula. If you're on my Facebook page, there's some pictures there. Yeah. And yeah, I kind of like having the whole dead makeup on, but got to about 12 o'clock last night. I was just like, oh shit, I haven't wiped it off yet. So I was almost half asleep. It's like I can't rock up to work like that.
Oh, come on. But, you could. You just don't answer the questions if you do.
Yeah, actually, I should one day just for fun. And with the vampire fangs as well, which aren't very comfortable at all. They're kind of cutting
you said that. Yeah.
Yeah. But apart from that, it was fun. Gave the Halloween a bang on the guitar. Just been practicing it for about a year now. Yeah. Completely fucked up the second half of it, so posted half.
You did put that on your Facebook page as well, didn't you? So
yeah. But it's a fucking banger of a song. Love it. But apart from that, good spirits, good times. Nice day tomorrow. Planning a barbecue. Summer. Yeah. Well, it's warm. It's not summer yet, but yeah, I'm banging on. How are you, man?
Yeah, no, I'm good. We had Halloween yesterday, obviously, like everyone else. Our friends in the US have got it tonight, as it is over there. But no, we didn't do much. We had our whole. You guys saw the photo in the chat with what we decorated our house. Yeah, it came up a fucking treat. So we spent the morning decorating the house, and then we would have done it last weekend, but the weather was going to be the weather was fucked, so we didn't do it. And I'm glad we didn't, because nothing would have survived the week with the winds we had. But yeah, it was bad. We had to redo all the cobweb and that over the house because it was just fucked after the first one. So we redid all that and then redecorated the house on yesterday morning. Then had the trick-or-treat up. We only got a few people coming through. I think, like you, people are being a bit more cautious, especially because the younger kids can't get vaccinated at the moment. So it makes sense to do that. So we had a few come through, which is nice. Actually took a photo of a family in front of our decorations, which is a nice little touch because it all came up, cool. Like you've seen the photo, it came up pretty fucking good. So yeah, a family wanted a photo in front of it, which is nice. And that's kind of validating because I know some people do a bit. They put the cobwebs out, but I don't think many people put up as much as we've put up, generally speaking. So yeah, we were happy with that. today was just a quieter day. We still haven't packed everything down yet. The decoration's still on the front lawn, lighting up the place. So I'm like, okay, cool. They were there for. I don't want to leave them a bit longer than that, so they'll be up tonight. We'll take them down tomorrow morning. I think we're planning on doing like a beach fish and chips dinner kind of run tomorrow afternoon, evening kind of a thing. That's the plan with the Cup Day. So yeah, Jody and I were talking about that earlier on. So that's kind of what we're looking at doing tomorrow. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that'll be a bit of fun, something nice to do, and it's good to be able to get away at the moment as well. Even for a couple of hours, nice to do that. So that's all good. But in the meantime, it's just been the usual editing, listening, doing this sort of stuff. So with that said, let's get into another episode and acknowledge some people that have joined us tonight. So Nude just jumped in to say, lads, so good to see you here. Thank you for joining us once again. Sumaleth, I did get your message on Patreon, so thank you for joining us as well over on YouTube. Sally, our good friend, a regular, saying, hey, guys. And Andrew, our good friend Andrew on YouTube as well. He's going, fair enough. So, yeah, he was the one asking what's going on. So thank you for your patience. Do appreciate that there. Nude says this, we put stuff out last year and some got pinched. Wow. That's
wow.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, we're lucky. We've got massive dogs, and anyone that walks on the fucking court here is going to know about those dogs straight away. So yeah, no one goes near our property. Like we put a sign out the front saying, "Grab yourself a," because we did all the distancing. Put the bowl out the front with the lolly bags in it, and just said, to help yourself to a treat. We have loud dogs that bark. That's our trick, kind of a thing. So that was how we worded it. So, that's a bit of fun, but yeah, for people to pinch stuff, that's a bit fucking shit. Don't do that, people. It's actually not that cheap. I mean, we put a bit of money into ours this year, so yeah, but that's probably going to do us for a couple of years. But it was, yeah, don't do that. If you're one of those idiots that doesn't like it, well, then just jog on, leave it alone, and it'll be all right. Okay, but yeah, that's a shame. Sad to hear that. That sucks. Yeah. Anyway, Rautism, Keith, oi, oi, oi. So good to see you here. Thanks for joining in. And as we're going through this tonight, remember that comments on Instagram, you can watch us on Instagram, but the comments, if you're putting any comments on those streams on Instagram, they don't come through us here in this platform because we use a third-party bit of software to make that all connect. So, yeah, we can't quite see the comments that people leave on Instagram. So if you are leaving comments there, we apologize. We won't see them. Just make sure you jump to a different platform and something you really want to get our attention for. Adrian, good to see you here tonight again. He's gone hellhounds on your trail, baby. If you steal shit, that should be the punishment. That should be the punishment. If you steal Halloween decorations, then, get the Winchesters after you and they can bring a hellhound from Crowley. That's one way to look at it. But yeah, we've got a lot to get through tonight, as always. So we've got a few reviews coming up later on. We've had some fun here. I'm going to quickly plug this as well, our THRS Hot Rockin' playlist. Even if you're not subscribed to our Patreon page for a couple bucks a month, this little playlist here is where some of that stuff will make it across to that playlist. So if you want to follow that, it'll help our numbers out. Just give us a quick follow on that playlist as well. We did all right last time. We've got a few new followers on it, so let's keep plugging it and progressively grow it. And it's one of those things these days to help us get our reach out there and all that sort of stuff as well. All right. All that said, let's get on to the hard rock happenings. And our first clip or single we're going to talk about is very fitting. Dave, you found this one, actually. So in the comments, and everything you need to know about these things is in the description post. So if you miss it in the comments or you're looking for it later on, it's there in the post or the description of this one. But in the comments now, I'll get to that in a second. But I'm putting a link in the comments now for a band called Hell in the Club, and they covered He's Back, Man Behind the Mask, which is an Alice Cooper classic. That's a new song from them. It's a cover. It's a classic, but it's done by Hell in the Club. So Hell in the Club, He's Back. That's what you're looking for as a reference track. Before we get stuck into our thoughts on this one, though, Sally's gone, I would be stealing a lot. Winchesters. And I don't think you'd be alone if that was the actual threat being pursued with that one. So there we go. Andrew's gone, my workplace was full of Halloween decorations and had a costume competition went full Viking. That is awesome. Nice. I love hearing that sort of stuff because Dave and I in particular are all for it. So I love this thing coming in because it is. I saw a good post on Twitter actually where someone said if an older teenager is coming around to your house and wants a lolly or two, then give it to them, because if they're choosing that over doing something else they could be doing that's less trouble, then reward them for it. So I reckon that's it. I reckon the more of this, the better, because especially at the moment, the more community sense we have, the better off we all are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. It's for the kids, it's for the community. It's something we all get to do to get together. I look at this as a almost like Christmas on steroids, because everyone actually interacts as opposed to just driving around kind of thing. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it gets better over the future with less people stealing shit, which is good. And before we get stuck into the song here, Nudes has gone on good cover. So Nudes is a fan of it. Is that Heel in the club? I'm not sure if Heel is in the club, but hello, good to see you here, Helen, as always. But let's get into it. So, Dave, you found this one, Hell in the Club. He's back. How did you find it to begin with? You subscribed or something and just knew about it, or?
Yeah, we followed that. We reviewed a couple of their albums in previous years. I think the last two they've done. So yeah, I've been listening to them on Spotify for ages, and it came up as new song. Friday was new song day, as we all know, and it's like, okay, he's back. The Man Behind the Mask has to be a cover, and it was a storm day, so all the power was out. And I'm like, at least I got Spotify. At least I still got Spotify, and fucking Optus was out as well. Like, God damn, I got to be able to do this. So I managed to jump on, and after walking around the backyard a bit, finally managed to find them. Just like, I'm happy with this. I love Alice Cooper. I love this song. It's one of my favorites from the Constrictor album. But it ties in with Friday the 13th Part 7 or 6, one of them when it came out. But yeah, I love the song, and I thought they did a fantastic version of it. They've stayed very faithful to the original. It's got the same vibe. So I haven't done anything drastic to change it, and it still sounds like Hell in the Club. Which, if people haven't heard them, check them out because they're a good band. Lots of fun, especially Halloween. And it was a good idea to drop it a couple of days before Halloween because it's fitting. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm. No, I reckon they did a really good job. I was wondering how you would feel about it because you're the biggest Alice Cooper fan amongst us all, I reckon, here at the show. And I thought they did a pretty good job. It's faithful, but it's rocked up just enough at the same time. Like they added a little bit of a bit more grunt to it. Not a heap, but just enough. And it's well performed. I mean, it's a good song anyway. But it was, like you said, very smart to drop this one on or just before Halloween. Would have been good to have a video to go with it because it has been a little while since an album. But at the same time, new music's new music. You take what you can get with it. But I thought, it was cool how they blended what's, that In Vogue thing where everyone's going back to the 80s and revisiting and refreshing the sounds and stuff going through it. And they did a really good job with this one in how they presented the song overall. So, if you like the original, I think you will appreciate the cover. It's a long way from alienating anyone. It's pretty faithful, like I was saying, but I think they did a bloody good job. So, well done. I think it's a good one. Make sure you check that out. What do we got here? So, Helen's gone, hey, man, Helen in the club. And that would be, well, you can. So get out amongst it. That's how it works. Keith said, what do we got? Just listening to the cover right now. So far, so good. Nice. And he's also said a video. Sweet. Nikki, good to see you. She's gone, hey ho from Nick and Mick. So good to see you as well, Mick. And we'll be organising hopefully a face-to-face gathering and filming session in the next month. So that'll hopefully, but you guys will get all the details on that a bit later on. And Helen's gone, hey, I'm going to post a 1976 link to a song by Proc. All right. Go for it. For those that are checking it out in the comments, I can't share links in this format. So, just follow the Facebook comments there if you want to know what that's all about. On to the next one for us, though. These are the ones I can share. So this is one from a band that we've got a lot of love for here. This is a little band called Snakebite Whisky, which I'm sure if you've been watching us for a while, you'd have heard of this band before. They released a new single off their last album, which is called Creepshow. So the band is Snakebite Whisky. The song is Creepshow. Again, they released it just before Halloween, so we're getting a bit of a crossover thing going on for these couple of days. But this is off Black Candy, which they released this year, I think, from memory. So, it's one of those ones that we love. So, Dave, I know you know the song. What do you think of the video as well?
Oh, the video is fucking fantastic. And, the song is a great song from a great album. And this band, if you haven't heard them, if you like the 80s rock and you like hard rock with a lot of edge, they deliver that in spades. The song has a rocking riff and it's got a killer solo. Yeah. The video, when you've got people, dressed in skeleton mask and all types of Halloween-y imagery, it's perfect. And it fits the song so well. So get in touch. Well, it's not October anymore and Halloween's finished, but still get in touch with the season and have some scary fun. Yeah.
It's one of those ones you bookmark for the next year, I reckon. You make those bookmarks for the year later to have a little playlist going, especially if next year everything goes to plan. We can all have bigger parties and that kicking around as well. It's one of those ones you bookmark for that playlist. Look, Black Candy is a great album. We all enjoyed that and the previous album as well. If this is a perfect single for this time of year, it's got that, creep show meets freak show kind of vibe in the video, the way it's put together, the masks and the outfits. and that as well. It's got a bit of a voyeuristic approach to things as well, so it's a bit of a peep show element to it. And if you like that kind of idea mixed in with a band performance on top of it all, it's a very cool, well done little video with a cool hook to the song. I mean, these guys do a sleazy rock sound, and they do it very, very well. And it's a good little track, this one, and the video just fits it perfectly. So I think it's a really good, well done job on this one. And again, well timed to be dropped just around the Halloween season, as well as the perfect single from these guys for that time of year. So if you like that track, check out the album. It will not disappoint you at all. So definitely get around it now. Sally's jumped in to say, love the clip. Wicked bass like this is my thing. Very, very cool. Very nice. Getting some good feedback from the tracks we're putting into everyone to check out so far. So let's go to the third and final one for the little singles side of things. This is another Australian band we're talking about now. A little band called Bad Moon Born. So in the comments, in the post, in the description, look for Bad Moon Born, and the song is Waves in brackets of the Wild. So Bad Moon Born and Waves. This is the 4th of 5 singles planned for this year. So we've always loved what these guys have done. Dave, is this just another one that they've just knocked out of the park for you?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's more than just another song from these guys. Not that it was ever just a song, but this is something special. Opening with a very cool, heavy riff. Guitars on this are fucking great. And usually you see lyric video, just like, damn, I wish there was an actual music video. But I think the lyrics on this are good having them on the screen so you can actually really get what they're going for with this. And the lyrics on this are fucking great. And vocally, I'm a big fan of Jordan's vocals. I loved what he did in Cults of Ice and Chimeria, and those two bands were worlds apart. And I've heard him do the operatic symphonic shit. I've heard him do the heavy stuff that he's done in Cults of Ice. I don't think I've heard him sing like this before. It's really different,
but it's good. He's growing, isn't he?
He really is. He's getting the most out of his voice and really serving, and it fits perfectly what these lyrics are. I think this certainly a fantastic song. I can't fault this at all. But like I said, it's good having the words come up on the screen at you as they're coming along, because it really hits home. It's a fantastic song, fantastic performances all around. I mean, I reckon this band has been around for quite a few years now, and they've done a lot of good stuff. But yeah, this is definitely taking things to a new level.
They are definitely doing that. I got a good comment here from Lee. So good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight, mate. Although I missed Cults of Ice output, love Jordan's vocals. He is a star, and he is one of the busiest guys going around, but he is one of the best ones going around too for what he does. I liked the approach of the lyric video on this one. It was just the door frame with the white of the room kind of thing, and just different things going on as an overlay with the lyrics coming through. It was a very clever little lyric video, very well done, very simplistic, but artistic enough to be visually grabbing. Yet it's not something I put on TV, but it is a very cool thing to look at on the YouTube platform. Look, I like the fact they're doing this 4 out of 5 singles things for the year. I think that's a very smart ploy to get things moving along and keep yourself current and relevant. So yeah, it's very, very good. These guys don't put a foot wrong for mine. This one in particular is a bit heavier, a bit darker than what we've had before. I mean, they did the Bad Guy cover a little while ago, which everyone fucking loves because that went off. But this one's a darker twist on things, and there's a really sick fucking breakdown in the middle of the song with a really nice guitar solo after it as well. Like, that middle part of the song is really fucking cool. As always, these guys do have a hook in their stuff, though, which is really... it's sharper than you might think, the way it drags you into the song, which is really nice. And, this has a nice bit of aggression, some good melody about it. And they use harmony and space. Well, there's a lot to like about this song, and the lyrics tell a very good story as well. So I'm keen for more. I'm glad there is one more to come for this year. I'm not sure if it's going to be packaged up as an EP or something down the line, but fuck, I'm keen for what they're doing with this one. So very well done. Another standout track. I know it's not just another track, but yeah, they just keep knocking him out of the park at the moment. So fucking well done to them. What do we got here? Andrew says, love me some Bad Men Born. Follow them on the socials and love this one, which is nice. Good to see you're all over it as well. Helen's gone, Bad Men Born. Know these guys very well and cannot wait until they come back to Melbourne. Emma in constant contact with these lads, bloody talented bastards. Yes, they are. And Voya's doing a lot of good things too on the production side as well. So he's one to keep an eye on for a few fronts. He's becoming a bit of a double or triple threat kind of element to things. He's helping people write and produce and stuff too, which is very, very cool to see someone doing that sort of stuff as well. Sally's gone, big sound, like the drums in this song, great vocal. I'm happy to hear a lot more. So yeah, there's an EP with a different singer prior to this, but the stuff they've done with Jordan, I think, is actually, without being disrespectful, I think it's kind of a step up. They've sort of found their groove now, and hopefully this is they're getting onto a lot of playlists and getting some radio rotation too. So hopefully this is a sign of bigger and better things to come for the band. They're getting some good support slots. So all the best to everyone involved at that. On to the news side of things. We're going to quickly cover off a lineup change that's gone through for Divine Ascension. The drummer Luke has departed the band. I'm personally a bit saddened to see this one. It's all like they seem to have lost a few over the years, and so hopefully this doesn't impact the output, because I'm very, very keen to get a new album from these guys as soon as possible, because everything they do is fucking fantastic. And the last album was an absolute ripper too. But anyway, there's a statement from the band. So the band said, Luke has decided to step down from Divine Ascension. As an original founding member of the band, Luke leaves behind an amazing legacy in the band as well as the local and international metal scene. We would like to celebrate his contribution to everything we have achieved and wish him the very best in all his future endeavors. And from Luke, he goes, Divine Ascension has been a large part of my life since the formation of the band in 2005. I've enjoyed my time in the band and am proud of what we've accomplished over the years. 3 albums I've been involved in, and the many tours and local shows have made for fantastic experiences and lasting memories. However, what made this decision all the more difficult are the members I leave behind. The rehearsal room is a unique space for any band, and is the moments of creative discovery, the refinement of our craft, and the time with friends that have been the hardest aspects to walk away from. So to Jen, Carl, and Jace, I say thank you. It's been a joy and a privilege to play and ride alongside you, and I wish you every success moving forward. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the bands and broader metal community in Australia, especially the people that have offered us so much time and support from our hometown in Melbourne. Thank you for the belief, passion, and effort that you put into the scene and in giving bands old and new their time in the sun. And last but certainly not least, to fans of the band, thank you for your unwavering support. I've heard a lot of the new material recently, and there is definitely more great music to come from Divine Ascension. Here's hoping we get more music soon from my point of view on that one. But Dave, I know you're a big fan of this band as well, so your thoughts?
Yeah, it was sad looking through Facebook and seeing the statement come up. I'm a big fan. Probably as long as I've been doing this show, so as soon as I started to become aware that, hey, we have bands like Nightwish right here in Melbourne, and they are fucking world quality. And, I've seen this band play a few times, and, hopefully they find the right fit to keep going forward, because there is remarkable talent in this band, and a good catalogue. Is good to be good to see these songs still perform live in the future. And I did a few years ago, I did a Skype interview with the whole band, and that was a very fun and chaotic 45 minutes. They're all good guys and girls in the band, and hopefully whatever he chooses to do going forward, it brings him happiness, and I hope the band can find something that suits them to go forward with, because, like I said, great band.
It's a shame to see Luke go. I haven't had much to do with Luke. I've had much more to do with Carl and Jen. But they're great people, so I wish them all nothing but the best. And Nikki and I did an interview with these guys not too long ago after lockdowns. It sort of started to become a thing, and that was a lot of fun. So, these are great people. If you're interested in applying, I don't know what the deal is at the moment, just, hit them up if you fit the bill. And if you want to get involved in the symphonic metal scene and be with a band that does fucking great things, then, please do check them out and get involved. Because, like I said, the last album was fucking an absolute cracker. My God, it was good. What do we got here? So, Helen's gone, P.S. Procol Harum recorded in 1976 a track Hamburg, which Alice Cooper stole in 1985. Only Women Bleed. Check it out. Okay, there we go. And Dave, listen to All Them Witches. Done deal. All right, cool. A few things there for you to check out, Dave, because you're the big fan of that one. Before we get to the hot topic, we do have a little bit of one to cover off, which, Dave, again, you brought this one to our attention. It's Metallica being a part of an online course, Teachers Being in a Band, which is part of a yearly subscription thing. So it's an interesting concept, this one. I don't know how over it you are. Do you have any thoughts kind of thing to share on this one?
Yeah, I think it's a unique idea, and I can't think of a band better than Metallica to do something like this. I mean, after a 40-year career, the band's pretty much experienced everything a band can have thrown at them, and they've come out the other end of it, and they've grown as a band, as people. Everyone's seen the documentary. They know the story. Everyone's got their own opinions, but, from right or wrong, good or bad, better or worse, they've gone through everything. They've, lived through it. And they've obviously got a wealth of knowledge that you can share to anyone who's willing and wanting to learn from them. So I think it's a great idea. It's certainly unique, and so it'd be interesting to see how it comes out of it, because I know I don't know James personally, but I know James has had a lot of.
That'd be nice if we did.
It would be pretty cool to hang out with James Hetfield. I'd give him a
It
beer
would
and
be.
everything. Completely fucking wife up. But yeah, he's
Oh god.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can see in recent years in the interviews that they do that they've spoken about Jason, they've spoken about Cliff and everything that they've been through. So why not, bestow that knowledge and wisdom to another generation? That'd be cool.
I think the time's about right for this sort of stuff because they are definitely further into their career than the beginning of it. Let's put it that way, politely. So yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting concept. I think that for more details on this sort of stuff, it's through this thing called Masterclass. You have to do a Google on it. It's 15 individual video lessons for a total of 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's $180. I don't know if that's US or not, but that $180 is like an annual subscription for all of their classes, not just for this one course. So for mine, I think it's better value that there's more classes. If you're paying $180 for unpersonal 2 hours 45 minutes, I mean, okay, it might be worth it, it might not. It depends on what you're doing. At the same time, I personally feel that one-to-one interaction is going to be better because you're going to be able to get sort of questions answered versus the stock standard here's a curriculum kind of thing. But I'm not a big believer in the traditional education system as a general rule. There are parts that work, but I think it needs a bit of reform. So I'm not convinced that blanket here's a curriculum, go and do this and it'll work. I don't think that applies. But for getting a bit of insight to a band that's done everything in 40 plus years, well then, yeah, fuck it. Why not? I mean, it's not a bad thing to check out. It'd be worth it just to see it. It's hard to judge it in any way, shape, or form without actually watching it. But it's a cool little thing. And I like I said, I'm a big fan of the interpersonal thing. We discussed things like this before about the ability for bands to do things like what we're doing now with hunters and that. So I think one-to-one time is more interpersonal and a more rewarding experience. But at the same time, if this is something that actually helps people, then by all means, fucking go for it. And if nothing else, it'd be cool to watch them sort of go through the motions and listen, get their takes on things. I'm sure it'll all come out in some much of a form at some stage, but it's a nice little idea. I think it's a good little earn for the band, and bands need to find ways to make money anyway. And these guys are one of the ones that, like I said, the time's about right for these guys at the point of their career. Iron Maiden would be another one that I would be, keen to see what they would do with it. I'd even like to see someone like Blackie Lawless because his production side, as well as, there's a few there that you say, ooh, some of the more reserved ones might do well in this sort of platform. So there's some scope for it for sure. I mean, it's an interesting sort of concept. We'll see how far it goes. It might fall flat on its face after 12 months, but it might kick off and be a whole online learning sector in the next 5 to 10 years. We don't know, but it's an interesting concept nonetheless. So there we go. Give us your thoughts out there as well. Sally's, she's gone, yeah, post it. She thinks it's a great idea. But she also says that Het answered me in an email once, felt high for a week. That is amazing. That's a cool, and that's the part that I love about that sort of stuff, that whole interacting with email, whatever else. If you get the personal touch, that makes a much bigger difference to anything else from mine. Helen's chatting back and forth. I'll pull that up on the screen. Hey, Sally, you like drummer in Babin Born. Drummer is insanely talented. Tattoo artist who owns Cronulla Inc. in Sydney. There we go. And Andrew has gone, I've seen a lot of interesting masterclass classes advertised. Never followed it up. For only $180, it might be worth it. And that's the thing that I like. I do like about the platform. For $180, even if it's US, and it gives you access to things like what Martin Scorsese and other people did. Also, it's not just bands. It's like directors and that sort of stuff. There's a pretty big spread. So for $180, even if it's like, $300 Australian, it's not a bad thing for a 12-month sort of subscription. I think that's what it is, 12 months worth. So if you're interested, check it out. It's out there. And if they want to sponsor us, then yeah, let us know. I'll take some help in that regard. But anyway, we'll move on to the hot topic for tonight. And this is one that's a bit interesting. I've got Caesar prowling around the yard out there and my door's closed. I'm not sure what he's going to do next. But the hot topic for tonight is bands re-recording stuff for release purposes. This is inspired by the Screaming Jets recently re-recorded their 30th for the 30th anniversary of All for One, the album. We reviewed the classic album a couple of weeks ago, and we figured we'd touch on this now because they just recently released the re-recorded version, which is basically a modern day take on the album. So what do you think of this one? It's not about this album. It's just a general conversation point, but it's just inspired by that album happening. So what do you think of it, Dave?
Yeah, I'm in two minds about it. Sometimes it's great and sometimes it's unnecessary. And, I feel both ways about the Crimson Idol when it was re-idolized a few years ago. And I thought
Yeah.
Blackie sounded amazing on that. I thought it was interesting to hear the extra songs, but it just didn't have that same vibe that the original album had. And I think part of it is because you grow up listening to a particular album and you become so attached to every little nuance in it that when they go and redo it with a new lineup, regardless of how good they pull it off and how good the band still sounds, it's just not that same magic that was captured that first time.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you get ones like what Anthrax did, where they did a whole bunch of, not a particular album as such, but just the 14 fan favorites that were voted from. Set up a studio and record them over 2 days. It's kind of a live feel. So that works really well. But then on the other hand, Suicidal Tendencies redid their first album because the copyright or something ran out. They weren't getting royalties. They're like, well, fuck you, we'll just re-record it. But once again, that wasn't the same as that first album. Yeah. So I think Twisted Sister have done one as well. But, I haven't heard the re-recording of Stay Hungry. I think they redid that one a few years ago.
I'm not over that one. I know that Def Leppard did a large chunk of their career because they couldn't get it on streaming services unless it was the re-recorded version because of a dispute. So But once again, it's just not the same. But sometimes you get really interesting things like first Dream Theater album, which has like cheapest production. They re-recorded it live. They did a live version of it in celebration of 15 years with the new lineup. And that's really interesting to hear a comparison between the two, how they changed some tempos here and there. They get a chance to rewrite and improve. And that's a good one because both are actually really cool. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think ultimately it's fun sometimes to hear how the band's changed over time, but you're just not going to recapture that same magic initially. I agree. Sorry, someone's got fireworks going off on November 1st for some fucking reason, but all right. So I'm waiting for Caesar to lose his fucking mind. That's why I'm sort of like, okay, I've got a half, because if he, you know him, he's a bit of a wild dog. Look, I'm the same. Like, I think that, like, I'll ask you a question to start off. Like, we both have listened to both versions of the Crimson Idol. Right? We both listened to both versions. We both love both versions. But if you're going to put one on, is it going to be the new one or the old one?
Old one. Straight away.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that it's not a. I don't think the risk is worth the reward, if that makes sense. So if you're going to do it, a live setting I think is a great idea. That works. That or fucking rearrange it so it's like an acoustic version or something different.
Halloween did. Halloween did one where they did all types of crazy orchestration and different versions just as a celebration, just for something fun.
Yeah. You got to make it different. I don't think doing a carbon copy is going to be any good. Now, for the Screaming Jess one as the inspiration, I like both versions. But if I'm going to choose which one I'm going to put on, I'm going to go back to the original. It's just what you grow up with. It's what you know. And I think that there's something about the actual original feel, vibe, even the mistakes or whatever they don't like. That's what you see them live or get the live takes of to get the differences or the part they want to mature into. The original one has a place in your heart that you just can't quite, you'll never replace it. And it's to do with the soundtrack of your life effect kind of thing. So you'll know the first time you heard Better on the radio and all those things as well. And for me, there's nothing wrong with the version. I think it's really good. But I just know that if I'm going to choose which one to listen to, I'm going to go back to the original. And this is after listening to both I've listened to one a couple of weeks before the new one came out. And it's like this comparison is really fresh. And it's like I'm still going to go back to the original because it holds a place in your heart. If you're going to do it, make it different. Do it as a live performance, as an anniversary thing. That's cool. I'm with that. But otherwise, rearrange it, fuck it right up and really make it something different, because I think overwhelmingly the feedback I've seen, which I'm not seeing the comments yet, but I see some coming through. But generally speaking, the comments I've seen, most people don't like it. So I'm not entirely sure is it worth the effort kind of thing. Bands can do what they want. And like I said, this is not about the Screaming Jets. They did a good job with it, but it's about, is this worth, I don't think punters are going to buy it. You know what I mean? So it's not going to drag in a new audience to you. so I'm not quite sure. What Jimmy Barnes did, like the anniversary thing of his career, and they had all the different individuals coming, like they had different versions, duets and stuff, different people coming in, like the Living End version of this song with him on it and stuff. That kind of concept is called bring people in to play on it. That gives a bit more spice, variety. If you're just doing a carbon copy, I just don't see the value in it. The one point where I do see doing a carbon copy fucking really nailing it is when it's funny because someone's mentioned Taylor Swift. I'll get down this in a moment too. But going out of a wheelhouse, Taylor Swift went and did it to completely own things like mechanical rights and royalties. And so because she was able to put a stop on certain songs being used in advertising and all sort of stuff, she was able to reclaim that monetary income by re-recording the songs and going, here, you can have these ones instead. When there's a dispute like that where it's the artist's lifeblood at stake, where Def Leppard did the same thing, I fully understand why you would do it then. But at the same time, it is not the same as having the original, which is where I find people are going to turn their way back to those ones, even over time. Because even now, like the re-recordings were done, they're still on streaming services, I believe, but everyone's going to go back to once the streaming service is released or all of Def Leppard's catalog was available on streaming services, everyone's going to go back to those ones. And if you look at the streaming numbers, those are the ones that went right through the roof immediately. So, yeah, I don't see much of a point of re-recording a carbon copy. It's a nice nostalgia thing, but it would be nice to have seen them do like a live. I know you can't because it's COVID, but hold off a bit, do it that way, or rearrange into acoustic kind of thing. Because especially in Screaming Jets in this context, they've got the fucking talent. I know they've got the talent in that band to do it that setting, so it would have gone well. But anyway, it's not a bad thing. Like I said, this is not a criticism of anyone doing it. I just don't think it's worth the effort in terms of what you could do with the studio time instead, kind of a thing, to make it more valuable to the consumer and to the fan base. As a personal thing there for mine. So yeah, I think we're kind of in agreement on that one as well. So it's an interesting one. We've got some comments on this one too, which is nice. Helen's gone, nothing I loathe more than covers. So there are definitely a few people that are in that category that don't like bands covering even their own stuff, which is a thing there. Nude says, if it was done with a small budget at the time and they came out below par, go for it. They can lose the grant being re-recorded. That's the thing too. Like, but at the same time, you got classic albums like, you know, the original Black Sabbath album was done on a shoestring budget in like 72 hours. I think keep it. Like, it's a moment in time. Yeah, I've got no problem with it. You can redo things later on and make it like I said, a live version or whatever else. You can redo things later on. I think just leave it. Edge Crusher, so thank you for joining us on YouTube. I think it's the first time, if I'm correct, for you. But they've gone, Sonata Arctica did it to their first album. It sucked. That's a common criticism I do hear, is that people don't like it. And Keith says, sounds like Screaming Jets have done a full-blown Taylor Swift. You know what I'm talking about. They didn't because they have the rights and all that stuff going on. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Helen says, it's different when it's a one-off tribute, but to constantly thrash an ordinary version undermines talent, and ultimately it's like washing the dishes over and over again. That's another one too on the stuff there. Sumalet says, I didn't know about that when Dream Theater and Day Unite re-recording. Interesting. So there you go, Dave. You're educating the masses about bands out there.
There's a DVD available too.
Okay, cool. That'll be all right. Dean's jumped in to say, hey guys, sorry being late tonight. Hope you both had a great weekend and Monday and Cup Day tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Doesn't matter if you turn up late or not. It's always good to have your company here. So thank you for joining in, and hopefully you're keeping well as well. Our good friend out there, Dean. Sumilo says, I'm interested in this idea if the original recording was poor, if the new recordings are live show of the whole album. Otherwise, I feel much like a weird remaster, which I tend to ignore. Some remasters are good. I'll give credit where it's due for some remasters are really, because of technology has changed, the way people listen to music has changed. The remastering is a good thing. But generally speaking, yeah, I'm kind of with that there. Our good friend Jeff, great guy. He's gone well, said Andrew. So thank you for the kind words there. And Andrew Marshall has gone, I used to hate covers in my youth, have mellowed in my old age if they had done well. Covers, this is not a general critique of covers. Yeah, covers are fun. We did one earlier on with, you know, the Hell in the Club cover of Alice Cooper's time. There's some fun ones out there. It's just a case of, is this bang for buck when the same band records their own songs or albums again? Not quite convinced that's an effective use of your time. But everyone to their own. Make sure you give us your thoughts and stuff. Good to get some feedback going on that conversational topic there. So we love getting the feedback. Keep them coming as we move on. But if there's anything else you want to add there, Dave, or are we going to move on to the reviews now?
I think we'll do some reviews.
All right, let's do a few reviews. Let's kick it off with the local band first and foremost, like we do with these Hard Rock Show sessions. So in the comments, in the description, in the post, look for Spacegoat. The band is Spacegoat, one word, Spacegoat. And the song is Dirty Fighter. That's the most recent video. They have lyric videos on top of this as well, but I'll get to that in a moment with the preamble. But the band is Spacegoat. The song is Dirty Fighter. That's your reference track for the album or EP we're going to talk about next. So let's get into it. Our first review for tonight is Spacegoat with Catharsis. 6 tracks, 31 minutes. The second EP from the Australian band, released October 2021 independently. Produced by Matt Robbins at Colour Sound Recording Studio. Mastered by Tony Jack Mance at Deluxe Mastering. 2 singles have been released in Dirty Fighter and Miasma. There are also lyric videos for a couple of other songs in Purge and Amnesis. We enjoyed their debut EP 33 a couple of years ago now. So whilst this one was released early October, I'm keen to get stuck into this one and see what everyone thinks. So Dave, over to you.
Okay, I don't think I did their previous EP, so this is my first time hearing them.
You might have, yeah, from memory.
Yeah, I don't think I did. Anyway, this is a very cool listen. They got the driving riffs that get your head nodding straight away. It's just really fun to listen to. There's a hell of a lot of energy in the songs, and the composition is dynamic, and there's a lot of textures throughout all their songs. I wish I had a lyric sheet to follow along with this. I tried Googling, but there was nothing available. But there's enough weight in these stories to think that I really want to pay some attention and actually find out what is going on here. And the words themselves are just as powerful as the riffs. There's some very heavy shit on here. There's a lot of anger in the song. The second track, Miasma, I think that's how you say it.
Miasma. Yeah,
Miasma. Yeah, that really made me pay attention to this. The first song went, okay, that's cool. The second song comes on, just like, okay, this band's got something. And the vocals are really well done. I wasn't too keen on the distorted vocals in the first opening track, but that's
that was different.
Yeah, it is. It was very well done and it's unique. It's just, not to my personal taste, but I got to give credit for something different. It does punch out at you. But all the other vocals throughout this album, it's very. It suits the music and it suits the vocal. Yeah. It suits the lyrics. I mean, and it just
there's a really dark, aggressive kind of vibe about this one, isn't there? It's got a really. It's something.
It doesn't always have to bark out and bite in the delivery. There's some whisper. And not like pop whisper that I hate, but it's just, there's something coming. It's a good build, and it's really unique way of doing it. I really liked it. And then I like the changes in the song Erased. You got the softer verse and a louder chorus, but it's not like your quiet verse and then your heavy. It's almost at the same level, but it's delivered differently. And that chorus in that song, it's for all the darkness, that's a very catchy hook. To that one. It just gets stuck in your head. I like how Nothing has that quiet, subtle moment in the middle. There's a lot of different dynamics throughout this album. It's very clever. The EP closes with a 6-minute track. I just like how about the 4-minute part, you think, okay, the song's winding down. And it just slowly starts to build back up. Like, okay, the song's not finished yet. They're going to build back up to this ending. Yeah, I thought that was very cool composition because, okay, cool, song's over, and just like, no, we're not done yet. We'll go a little bit more just to tack on. Yeah. But I guess at 10, Erase, Nothing, and Amnesis, the last song.
Amnesis,
Amnesis.
Yep. Now I did do the first EP, obviously, I think it was, I might be wrong, I think it was 2019 from memory. But they were they still are, but it's a dark alternative rock and metal kind of a thing going on. This one, the opening of this started off in the same musical vein as where they left off with the previous EP, but then they fucking came in and Erin is the vocalist and she's just come in with the full-blown growly scream and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? I did not see that coming. As the opening track on this EP as well, that's a statement. Going from the first EP to this one, that's your opening track. That's ballsy. So credit where due for taking the punt on that. It's not my favorite track on the EP, but fuck it, it is well done. It's well executed. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a taste thing again. But yeah, there's a lot of intensity. But at the same time, for all the aggression in that song, there's a lot of melody to it as well when the chorus and that kicks in. So they did a very good job of that track. It's a very impactful opener to this little EP. So if you know the band, or even if you don't, you know they're going to take some chances on this one and explore things a bit. And they've done that very well on this. Very dark, very... It's almost, I don't know, there's a brooding intensity about these guys and the lyrical content is there. This is not a happy listen, so to speak, but it's funny, they've called it catharsis because it's a cathartic listen. It's one of those ones you'll listen to get some shit off your chest too. And that's what this one does very, very nicely. If you are all over it or not, This is one of those ones where if you've got some shit you want to vent, this is an EP to do it to. And that's not to say that this is the most aggressive thing out there. No, it's not. The first track is the most aggressive one on here. After that, it goes through a few dynamic changes, peaks, troughs, and all sorts of stuff that I always bang on about. But it also just that's why the single I referenced before, the one I put in there, Dirty Fighter, is more representative of what's on the EP overall. And what they've done with this is made it really intense, but not in your face. It's going to drag you in and then sort of knock you about just by getting in here a little bit, and sort of it's very cerebral, very smart, but not in a tool way either. It's very accessible. So it's got this. They've done this thing where they've tapped into all the different worlds of the alt rock metal world and made it into a really unique little bubble of their own that anyone can listen to and really enjoy it. The sound is phenomenal. Matt Robbins has done a great job with this. He's kept the raw edge, which really suits these guys nicely, but at the same time polished it up just enough. The way Aaron's vocals move back and forth on different songs, different parts within the songs, is a nice touch too, and it adds to the dramatic impact of what's happening in the music. And I like the tones, the grit across this one in general. And there's some nice layering in this as well. Some panning, the attention to detail and stuff, like little haunting vocal touches. There's some really, I don't know, the attention to detail really stands out on this EP. I know that Matt does a great job in general, but the way that's been composed and all those things there, it's been really, really fucking well done. The track order is well thought out too. The way this thing flows as an EP, it's a half-hour listen. It flies by, goes through all the dynamic changes that you want on this one as well. I liked how tracks like Dirty Fighter showed they use different syncopation and rhythms on this one as well. So no two tracks are alike. Everything flows really nicely. You get one song that's got like the melodic verse with the heavy chorus, and the next song literally on the EP has the heavy verse with the melodic chorus. Sorry, or the other way around. Sorry, the heavy verse with melodic chorus, I should say. So there's melodic verse, heavy chorus. Fuck, you know what I mean. I'm losing my shit now. I'm going back and forth in circles. But you get what I mean. I thought the interesting choice on this one was also to close with the two longest tracks. I think it was very well done, though. And basically, you know, if you like it atmospheric, dark, brooding, but with lots of kick, lots of intensity, and some shit to say and get off your chest, this is one of those little EPs that'll sneak up on you and really make you want to check out more. If you like this one, check out the first EP as well, because they've done a lot right, these guys, with this sort of stuff. I like where they're going. I like how they're not afraid to experiment a bit. I like how they've opened up with that fucking in-your-face track on this one as well. But if the first track doesn't grab you, move on, and the rest of the EP, I think, will definitely suck you in if you're watching us tonight. So I love what they've done with it. I think it's a great job. 8 out of 10 from me. I picked Miasma and Amnesis as my standouts as well, so we've crossed over a little bit on those ones. Got some nice comments coming through at the moment. So what do we got here? So Keith has gone Goaters. So yes, I'm pretty sure he'd be all over them as well. They're great people too. Aaron and the guys are really nice. So great people. Dean's gone. Great band. Love the new music. Matt Robbins is a gun of an engineer. So yes, Matt is making a great name for himself at the moment. Yeah. Dean says, love what you're doing in the background, Dave. So there's some commentary on your backdrop for your Guns N' Roses flag in the background and the t-shirt. Soon Life goes Spacegoat. We are. Spacegoat says, always wanted you to get to go into Spacegoat. So yes, we're well and truly into Spacegoat at the moment. Going back to the hot topic before, Sally says, personally, I love to hear artists release acoustic versions of their songs. I seek it out. Like Corey live in London, or James Hetfield doing it for charity, or Chris Cornell tribute. I think as a singer myself, it's because the vocal is more prominent, and I definitely agree with that as well. I love the acoustic singer-songwriting vibe, which would be funny going into the Jerry Cantrell stuff in a moment. Yes, it is a good segue. Andrew Marshall has gone, just had a quick list. We'll be checking him out more. Please do. If you like what I linked through, you'll like this EP overall and the one beforehand too. Very good EPs, both of them. And because I said peaks, troughs, dynamics, some Keith said, drink up. Andrew said it. That's my old catch cry for the days of the drinking game on the TV show. Helen says, Spacegoat, while there's a bucket of talent, the genre is becoming generic. Matt Robbins is a master, however, it is reminiscent of others. Maybe that song is. I don't think the whole EP is, Helen. So check out the whole EP. I think there's a lot more to it than you might think from listening to that one there. That's why it was a single. It was meant to cut through that way. I think the whole EP might surprise you. Check it out more. And Dean says, love to see them live after listening to the music. These songs, the two EPs combined, will make a fucking great set. And Dave, you should check out the first EP as well when you get a chance to. Yeah, give it a go. I reckon if you liked this, you will definitely like the previous EP. But I did mention a segue. into the singer-songwriter kind of vibe, which this isn't quite that, but you'll get why the segue exists in just a moment. So in the comments, in the description, in the post, wherever it is you're checking it out, go and find Jerry Cantrell. That is the artist, which you should know from Alice in Chains. And the song is Brighton, which happens to be the album name as well. So Jerry Cantrell, Brighton, that's your reference track for what we're about to talk about. Now, so our next review is Jerry Cantrell with Brighton. Surprise, surprise. 9 tracks, 41 minutes, the third solo studio album from the Alice in Chains guitarist and vocalist. Released October 2021 independently, his first to be an independent release, actually. Produced by Jerry Cantrell and Tyler Bates at Dave's Room Recording Studio in California. No, not your room, Dave. Apparently you're not in California. 3 singles have been released. I know, fuck me, it'd be great, wouldn't it? 3 singles have been released, including Atone and Brighton. This is the first solo album from him in 19 years, and there's also a cover at the end of it, a cover of Elton John's track Goodbye, which is also endorsed by Elton John himself. It's a nice little touch there at the end of the album. So, Dave, how did you go? I know we've had some chat back and forth in the chat, but let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, I was looking forward to this album. I avoided hearing any singles leading up to this. I just wanted to hear it all in one. It grabbed my attention right from the start, from the opening note, actually. It put me right into the good, the bad, and the ugly territory. And that kind of sets the tone for the whole album, and it's just done exceptionally well. Very much a country vibe to a lot of these songs, but it's unmistakably Jerry Cantrell. Everything he brought to Alice in Chains, he's using to express himself in the solo album, but you also hear a different side to him, which is awesome. When you release a solo album, you don't want to alienate the audience you got. You want them to know it's you, but you want to be able to explore something completely different. And I think he does.
Fine line. He's done it very well.
It's incredible. Jerry's playing and his guitar tone is as familiar as his vocals. I've always loved that about Alice in Chains. He's just got something. He's one of those unique guitarists where when he's playing, you know it's him. And as much as I love what he does with the electric, he's always done great stuff with the acoustic as well. I think he's maybe an underrated acoustic guitar player, because having an album like this really shows, what he did on Unplugged. He just brought something new to the songs that we knew of Alice in Chains, but this is just him.
I think that he's underrated a bit in general. I think the people that love him and know him, they love him to death. But as a wider population thing, I think he's a bit overlooked in terms of who your biggest songwriters and guitarists are. He's fucking up there for mine.
Really?
One of my all-timers.
Yeah. Nothing he does is there by mistake. It's all on purpose.
That's it.
He's a he's mastered the instrument. He may not be as flash as a Van Halen or Slash, but what he does is effective for the song. And there's some beautiful acoustic moments on this. The song like Prism of Doubt, you can just picture it. He's pulled over to the side of the road, sitting on the back of his pickup truck, just acoustic guitar in hand, just singing out to the wilderness. It's just got that vibe. And what's really unique about this album, the majority of Alice in Chains stuff is in a minor key. It's got that droning, dark. Some of this is upbeat and in a major key. It's different to hear him do something like that. And it's still very much Jerry Cantrell. It's amazing. The lyrics are quite reflective, and there's a lot of strength in his observations. And the music has that upbeat country vibe to it. The lyrics aren't all sunshine and lollipops. There's some weight to these stories, but it's suited to a man of his age. It's reflective, and he's got a unique way of expressing himself, put it this way. The guitar solo in Black Hearts and Evil Done, I thought that was great. I mean, like I said, I've always enjoyed his playing, but that song really fits the song. The solo fits the song. It's really well done.
Definitely. Yep.
This is just one, if you have to make a long trip through the country, this is a perfect album for that shit. Or if you're sitting out back drinking some beers. Or if you're driving through the country drinking beer. And I wouldn't advise that.
Not behind the wheel.
Pull over, get out an acoustic guitar, drink some beer, play some music. It was nice winding up the album with Elton John's Goodbye. That was a really well done cover, and he made it his own. And it's kind of haunting how much the lyrics really fit what we know his story to be, with everything he's been through in his career. And
but I also felt that it really closed off the album nicely. Like it does wrap it up really. Just a neat little way to tie it all off.
It's a good way. I mean, I don't usually like opening or closing with a cover, but this is just the lyrics could have been hits. And you don't really appreciate Elton John in some ways because he's more the pop world. But you dig deep into his catalog, and he's got some fantastic music, and
Yeah.
someone like
There's a
Jerry
lot.
Cantrell taking what Elton John did and making it his own, and
Yeah.
it's kind of haunting how well it works. I gave it
Yeah.
8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Atone, Black Hearts, and The Evil Done, Nobody Breaks You, and Goodbye were my standouts. Really good album.
Yeah. No. Oh, for anyone that knows me and the show for a while, you'll know how much I'm going to fucking squirt over this shit. I love Jerry Cantrell, have for quite some time. So I'm happy to have this one come out this year, and I'm happy that the lounge, the Facebook group, our THRS lounge, just went, yep, this is one we're going to check out. So it was one of the more popular ones. We went, yep, okay, we're going to review this one. While you get what he brings to Alice in Chains on this one, you do get a lot more than that too. Like you've said before, and we touched on it, like combined, that it's a fine line to walk to not alienate your audience, but to also expand and give us more, because you don't want the solo artist to just be doing what he does in the band either, kind of thing. So you want differences, but you don't want to be so different, kind of thing. It's a really fine line to walk. And the fan base are a prick when it comes to that kind of stuff. I think he's fucking nailed it. I love his writing, his vocal tone, his style in general. Atone kicks this off with what you expect from the more Alice in Chains kind of vibe on this one. But you do get to move into other tracks very quickly on that too, which give you, like you were saying, the country kind of feel. There's some lap steel in this one too, some female backing vocals, the nice harmonies on this that aren't William DuVall or Lane Staley, and he still is he even just self-harmonizing. He's just got that knack for knowing where the notes are, which is, I love it personally. It's one of those things where if you love this kind of stuff, it's going to hook you straight away. I love the tones, the production. The production is fucking fantastic on this release. The amount of detail on this is, it's very much the singer-songwriter kind of thing. You can imagine these things were fleshed out on the acoustic, then brought into the studio, and then filled out with all the electrics and everything else around it. But there's so much going on. The attention to detail in both performance, composition, and production is stunningly good for an album that doesn't take a lot of dramatic twists and turns, but it does enough to make it really interesting at the same time. I was really blown away by the ear candy aspect, what was going on in this one as well. They've got piano in this. There's a lot going on here. Little bass touches sort of fill these things out. There's a lot to appreciate if you dig in and give this one a deep listen. You'd mentioned, Prism of Doubt, that, really hone in on the singer-songwriter stuff there, but it's not too artsy, not too folksy either. So while we're referencing this country vibe, it's not oppressive or over the top either. It's still very rockin' overall, but it's just he's just got this knack of blending all the worlds he's played in or influence him or whatever. He's just got this knack of pulling it all together and making it really, really work, which is uncommon and exceptionally well done. There's this art to making things that are simple but not simple at the same time, and he's got that down on this one too. And these songs have begun, like I was saying, on the acoustic guitar and then brought in. I love the light and shade across this thing. The whole album is a bit more sedate. It's not you're not getting the ball tearing stuff you got on previous work from him, but this one is just a really nice thing. And the thing that makes it riveting is the performances and the attention to detail. You believe everything Jerry is saying in the songs as well. The stories are fucking well done. And I think that this shows you how important he is to Alice in Chains, but also how much he can do things outside of that. And if he wanted to go and expand further, he well and truly could. I think anyone and everyone can enjoy this one. If you're a rusted on metalhead, if you want fucking Pig Destroyer, maybe not, but anyone else, I think can find something in this one for sure. I just think if you like good songs, well written, well performed, you're going to enjoy this one. I know I'm a fanboy, but this might be a sneaky top 10 contender for me by the end of the year as well. This is one of those ones where it's just going to stay with you and it's going to reverberate around the back of your head. It's just going to sit there. So I think that for pure talent, for the range of display, I love his voice, and I think the cover, like he said, he made it his own, which is greatly done too. And I think that whether or not you're a fan of Alice in Chains has very little bearing on how much you're going to like this album. I think it's, as a standalone product, it's very, very well done. So 9 out of 10 from me. I also picked Atone, Had to Know, and Nobody Breaks You. There's 3 different tracks in that, but it gives you a good little cross-section of this album as well. I really did enjoy this one. Some comments coming through, which is very nice to see. So Ernie C has gone, good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Jerry doesn't disappoint. I've only heard a couple of tracks off the new album. What I've heard of, like, if you've heard a couple of tracks you like them, you're going to love the fucking album. I'll put it that way. If you've heard any of this and you liked it, but I did the same as you, Dave. I didn't really go chasing things down and listen to the singles. I saw Jimmy and stuff sharing it, and I didn't really click on them until the album came out. And just this whole listen is fucking fantastic from start to finish. I enjoyed not hearing the spoilers. Did you have the same effect?
Yeah, it's just good to consume the whole album in one sitting.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that you sit down with this one. It's one of those ones where it'll work on a porch with the drinks and the sun shining, the sun going down and stuff, but it'll also work just as sitting down and really focusing on listening to it. It's one of those. It can be background. It can be forefront music. It's really nice. Yeah. Conrad, good to see you here. Thanks for joining us. He's gone great singer songwriter. Love his harmonies with Alice in Chains. He is fantastic in that regard too. Sally's gone. Haven't heard the whole album, but I'm looking forward to it. Please do and let us know what you think. Helen's gone. Jerry is light and shade. He has a melodic ear and uses it to seduce his listener. That's a very, very good way of putting it. Very well done. I do agree with that completely. His tone is unique. Like you said, the guitar tone cuts through. I think his vocal tone as well. As soon as you hear his voice, you know exactly who it is. Lee's gone. This is probably to sleep the past 2 nights. Brooding and undoubtedly Jerry. Great opus to indulge. So yes, this is a really good listen. I really did enjoy it. Sally's also gone. I'm a big Alice in Chains fan. It's so easy to have on in the studio and just be able to zone into the work you're doing at the time. I think it's going to be one of those albums for me. Yes, definitely, it will be one of those ones. You'll find yourself spinning this one on repeat really easy. Did you find this one really easy to go back to? Just repeat it?
Yeah. Just have it on repeat and just listen to it for a few hours.
Yeah. It's really easy to do. Helen's gone, I strongly feel Jerry, my cat's name, Little Jerry Seinfeld, knows who his audience is and is equally talented in production and as a player and in execution. Slow burner is an understatement. Yes, this is one of those ones where it's going to sneak up on you a lot more than you think. It's very, very well done. All right. If you're watching and you're following us, you know that we take gear changes, and we're going to do one of those right about now. We did a special on this band early this year, and Dave and I came away as fans of the band after that one. So let's see how they've gone with the brand new album. It's not often that we do a special on a band and they release an album the same year we do it. I think it's probably the first time it's ever happened, Dave.
Yeah, easily.
Might be the first time it's happened. So anyway, the new reference track going through is from Mastodon, and the song is Teardrinker. That's the latest single from the band. Sorry, before we move on, Andrew is gone. Big Alice in Chains fan. We'll give this a listen tomorrow. Please do let us know what you think, because this is a fucking stunning release from both of us. But yes, the reference track you're going to check out now is from Mastodon, and it's called Teardrinker, and it's from the new album, which we're going to talk about right about now. It's a main event for the evening for this one, folks. So this is Mastodon with Hushed and Grim. 15 tracks, 86 minutes, the 8th studio album from the American band, released October 2021 via Reprise Records. Produced by David Bottrill, mastered by Ted Jensen. 3 singles have been released, including Teardrinker and Pushing the Tides. This is the band's longest album to date. It's also their first since their debut album in 2002 to not have a guest vocal from Scott Kelly. This album is a tribute to their former manager, Nick John, who passed away in 2018 from cancer. And like I was saying, we did a special, Dave, you and I and Tim did a special on Mastodon early this year. So for the first time, I think, in the show's history, we've done a special and then had a new album from the band come out at the same time. So what'd you make of this one?
Oh, this album's fucking fantastic. I'm surprised Tim isn't here for this. I know he's a big fan. Interesting to see what he has to say about this. We'll ask him later. But this album is fucking fantastic. There was so much to take in. The musicianship and composition is top notch. If you like music that challenges you, surprises you, but at the same time is really enjoyable to listen to, then you need to listen to this album. There are parts that the average metal fan will find familiar, and then they'll change things up and give you something that you're not expecting. And I think that's a very, very good sign of something that's unique for this band. It just makes for an interesting listen. Every single song is a story into itself, and there were so many changes within each song that everything flows really well, exceptionally well in some cases. A lot of these songs are in excess of 6 minutes, and they'll take you from one place to this other place, and you have no idea how you got there, but you know there was a lot of changes along the way, and it's not jarring at all.
Yeah, it was really cool how they did the composition on this one, because it's a long listen, but they made the songs individually stand out, which in turn made the album flow. It was a really neat trick how they put it all together.
It's almost a 90-minute album, and it's just so easy to listen to. It's really well done. There's great diversity in the tempos and the sounds that they're using, and there's different moods throughout. Do you hear these fucking burnouts?
I heard something. You've got the burnouts now. We've gone from cram burnouts now to you. All right, cool.
It's fucking crazy.
It's happening. I got fireworks. You're getting burnouts. We're going well.
It's only the 1st of November, people. We haven't even hit summer yet. A song like The Crux, I mean, that only goes for 5 minutes. It's one of the shorter ones, but there's so much going on. It seemed like a longer listen, but only because you're enjoying so much of what's happening, not because it's dragging. And no time any of these songs feel bloated, or they just stuck a riff in or a cool change just to be clever. Everything is there to serve the song. The energy just flies out the fucking speakers. This would be amazing to see live. But it's not a one-trick pony. It's not all balls to the wall. There are some subtle moments of beauty, and at some points, there's even like a Pink Floyd vibe I got out of some of these songs.
Yeah,
Skeleton,
the
Splendor,
synth
and
touch.
Dagger.
Yeah,
That was
I'm glad you got that too.
straight out of the Wish You Were Here album. I thought I really liked bringing that into the metal section.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was cool.
I thought that was so good.
I was like, oh fuck yes, because Pink Floyd haven't released an album in so long. It's just like people are starting to forget, I think, in some ways. And we see a band that want to put that influence into their music, and like, yes, keep it alive, bring it to the next generation. It was such a good tonal shift
as well. It was perfectly timed on the album.
Yeah, and it's beautiful to listen to. And that song, Skeleton of Splendor, has some great lyrics. There's some brutal honesty in in the way they deliver things. I love the clean tone in Sickle and Peace. The guitar tones are fucking great throughout. The clean, the dirty, and any other effect they want to use. There's some delay at the start. I've had it all. There's some fucking flanger in Sickle and Peace. I love that at the end. As I mentioned, the album is almost 90 minutes long. You got 15 songs, and they range between, some of them range between 6 and 8 minutes. There's a few shorter ones here and there, but there's just more to enjoy. There's no such thing of having too much of a good thing. And, your average movie runs for 90 minutes. That's the difference. Put an album on, close your eyes, and just listen. Enjoy what they've spent so long to create. And, there's no wasted moments throughout this. They've really worked their fucking ass off on this. When we went through all their albums, there was a lot to be impressed with and a lot of really intense music to consume in such a quick time. And just there's so much more to get out of this album. I've only heard it about 4 or 5 times now, and every time I just find something more to enjoy about it. This is really hard for me to score. This is why I wish Tim was here, because he gave the new Dream Theater album a 10. I would like to know how he scored this. I gave Dream Theater an 8.5, and I think this album is better than that Dream Theater album.
To be fair, I think this smokes Dream Theater for mine.
That the Dream Theater album's good. I like it. It's good, but that wow factor that I love about the band wasn't there. It's here in fucking spades. This album, everything is like wow. So I give this a 9, and it may even go up with more listens. But overall, I do prefer Dream Theater to Mastodon because I prefer their sound. But scoring music is really hard because this is an exceptional album. Like I said, the score may go up, and this will probably end up in my top 10s in some way, shape, or form. But I give this 9 out of 10. Stands with the Crux, Sickle and Peace, More Than I Could Choose, Skeleton and Splendor, Pushing the Tides, and Savage Lands. That was a cool, heavier track towards the tail end of the album.
It was really nice. I'm just going to quickly jump in and just because I've got some comments coming through, but just want to quickly acknowledge Hula Hoop I was just searching Mastodon and found this show. Love it. Thank you for joining us, and I'm glad the algorithm did this for you as well. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully you're enjoying the show. Got a lot of comments. We'll get to those in a second, but it's funny you mentioned Dream Theater in this one as well, because I was thinking about that too. Now, for context, I've listened to this album 3 times today alone, and I'm not tired of it. It's a 90-minute long album, and I'm not tired of it after 3 listens in a row today. The Dream Theater comparison, it might sound odd, but I like this stuff a whole lot more than Dream Theater, because if you're like me, the Dream Theater twists and turns don't feel organic, whereas with Mastodon, every change they made felt organic and completed everything on the whole, not only in the song, but in the album. I know it's not nearly as technical as what the other stuff is, but for me, this is much more, it feels more real. It has more of an emotive weight, and the tone has a lot to do with that for mine as well. You've got a very clinical tone with Dream Theater. These guys have a really earthy tone. And this one, when I was listening to it, it felt and reminded me of like there's just the surging sea. Like, and I know they've done the concept album about, Moby Dick and that in the past, but this kind of harkened back to that a bit, but also showed you a lot more. Yeah, you got that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you like Leviathan and you're not going to get anything quite as heavy as that, but you've got something else here. You don't get the pop stuff for like Show Yourself. You don't get that, but you get this actually perfect kind of mix of everything they've done before and where they're going to go next. And this is all in the backdrop of them. This band, whenever they have something go wrong in their fucking life, which is a lot for these guys, they write some really fucking good music. And they've done that on this record here again. And like you're saying, the brutally honest lyrics, they're talking about, how much they've gotten to know someone and what it means to them, and there's some really heartfelt stuff in this one too. And there's a lot of emotion going on in this release, not only lyrically and vocally, but also musically. And you pick up on it all along the way. Is it the easiest thing in the world to consume? No, not for everyone. It's not going to be. But if this does get you at all, this is going to just suck you in and take you on a journey. It's not going to be an everyday listen. It's pretty heavy for that. Not in the riff sense, but just the weight of this album, the emotional weight of it. This is it. It feels like the Ocean Soul, but it also feels like it has the weight of it as well, kind of thing. The weight in this is just in the emotive impact. It's not an overly happy listen. I mean, a lot of this stuff isn't, generally speaking, but this is. But at the same time, it kind of, you feel the homage, the pain, but at the same time, you feel like they've been sitting on some stuff for a while and they're getting a lot of it at the same time. This is so bloody good. Performances are fantastic. You got all the grit you want from this stuff. You've got the vocals and the harmonies being used in this are fucking brilliant. And like the way they interchange the vocalists on the songs, not only from song to song, but within the songs themselves, is fucking brilliant. But you got some really cool riffage that you do expect from this band, but at the same time, you get the different thing about this, just while it's in my head, that everything is really sort of the weighty, heavy sound of this. The snare and the drums, that cut through because it was such a dry sound at times. It really added to this sort of cutting impact. It's unusual to have like the drier sort of snare with this sort of really big cavernous sound going on, but the way that cut through was really cool, and it added this sort of sonic space to what was happening. It really just aided the listen. I don't know how quite to put it, but the way that cut through was really nice for me because it was a standard element, not in a jarring way, not like Sedanga, nothing like that. But the way it just sort of was a bit drier, just really aided it and helped to have this when it wanted to punch. That's what helped it to punch, kind of thing. I love the way they use panning on this one as well. Everything has been done to tell the story of the song, which is a lot of emotive weight, and they've done it really, really well. I think the layering of subtle things like screams, they've got these little screams in the background that are back and like in the mix, they're back, and then the hard pan left or right, and it adds this whole 3D element that is just, you're immersed. You put this on, you're just sucked into this world. The way to use little interludes on the songs as well, like we talked about, you weren't there for it, but we talked about the last Slipknot album and how that was meant to be a double album with all these sort of bits and pieces of, musical interludes and that. These guys have done it in such a way that the interludes are in the songs themselves. So the composition of individual pieces all ties together to make the complete album. It's almost a concept album, but it's not a concept album at the same time. They've done this really neat trick where they've made this thing flow so well, where it's, I don't know, like the songs are so written that each song is its own piece, its own chapter, but it all ties together as a whole. But it's not a concept album. It's not. Every song is different, which is really, really cool. When they want to kick in, they kick in hard, but like you said, it's Skeleton of Splendor, like the Pink Floyd touch in that. When they want to go soft and really atmosphere this thing up and make it really cavernous and huge, they did that. And I love how that led into Teardrinker as well on the album. The whole thing is so put together. You get little throwbacks to, like I was saying, which will please the longtime fans. I am curious as to what longtime fans of this band will think of this one, because I can see why people that really liked the early stuff, the first few albums, they might go, it's not quite what I'm looking for. But for people that have jumped in a bit later on, especially like you and I have done, this is like a fucking wow factor for me as well. This is really good. Like this band have gone on a hell of a journey to get to this point, and they've just made another great album. And the way they close this thing out with the strings, the little cello touch at the very end of the album, was such a good way to wrap it up. So just it's the smallest thing. Like it's the only song it appears on, and it's for the last sort of 10 seconds of the album. They've gone to that level of detail and nailed it. I don't know. Like, this is fucking well executed. Probably going to be a top 10 contender. Fuck. Top 10 this year is going to be really fucking hard. Really fucking hard. But this is a stunning release. If you're a fan of this band at all, check it out. If you're not a fan, this is one that I think can drag you in because it's not as harsh as previous ones have been. Okay, cool. We've got a comment here about the long-term fans, so I'll get to that in a second. But for me, I loved it. I think it's a really nice, subtle thing. Keep the comments coming. I'll get to that in a second. But for me, 9.5 out of 10. I really didn't drop. My score's gone up. I gave it a 9 to start with. I'm like, yeah, I'm talking about it going, okay, yeah, this is going to be a 9.5. It's up there for me. Teardrinker, Skeleton of Splendor, Dagger, and Had It All. Had It All is another one with the really heartfelt, big-time lyrics in that one too. Like the stories, the emotive weight can't be denied in this one too. This is really, really cool, this album. I really did enjoy it. So, yeah, check it out. Back to the comments for a second before we start to do the wrap-up, as we normally do. Okay, cool. We're got to go back. Okay, cool. So Jeff's gone, this is the review I was waiting for. This might just be the most diverse album they've ever done, and it's clear to me that they were taking a page out of Opeth's book, Excellent Album. So we've got some great feedback there to start with. Ernie's gone, so good to hear. I love Mastodon, love the singles, can't wait to rip into it. Cheers, awesome. Conrad says, love Mastodon. I've been listening to this album all day yesterday. It's stunning, very soundscapey, superb, beautifully crafted. They never disappoint. So there's more positive feedback. Helen's gone, holy shit, I listened to this album all night with recommendation from Benny El Colosso and Blanche from Dead Sea Ruins. Yeah, they're both going to be all over this one. The production layering listening was all 100%. Stellar tracks, not bloated with indulgence, but a new listening, bloody well delivered and a goer. That's the thing too. None of this is overdone. Like you said, none of this is just filling in time. Everything has a purpose. You found that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What do we got here? Sally's gone. Just had a quick listen. Sounds good. If you like that single, you're going to like this album, I reckon. Like I was saying before, Hula Hoop had their comment come through. Lee's gone, is it a double album? First heard these guys sitting in a Fallujah cruising down the Nile in 2005. Been a big fan ever since. Really disappointed. That's a hell of a story to find a band on. I'd love to know more about that. How did you find them listening to them on the Nile? But it is a double album on vinyl. I don't know if it was intended to be, but it is their longest one to date. So that's all I can sort of tell you about that one for now. Sumleth gone, this sounds like one I need to check out in full. Good, please do. Jeff, Hushed and Grim is a solid 9 for me as well. Such a diverse listen. Conrad says, it's Mastodon have always been a severely underrated band. Hopefully this album will give them the spotlight they are well overdue. Not quite sure it'll do that for them, but it is very well done. Jeff says, yes, Dream Theater is much more contrived music. It's not nearly as organic as the Mastodon. I love A View from the Top of the World, but it doesn't compare to the new Mastodon. I think that they're two very different albums. It's got to be said they're very different albums, but I would, if I'm going to pick one or the other, eventually, I'm sure it will eventually. It's going to happen at some stage. I don't know when, but it will happen. Helen's gone, P.S. Impressed by the term hearken as a wordsmith, so thank you for the kind words there. Tend to read and write a lot, so I tend to have a wide vocabulary. Lee's gone, doubt it. Not as accessible to the consumer as too lengthy. Shame as always for high quality. Possible, but the singles are seductive, so they've chosen the right tracks. Like Teardrinker as a single is a good one to put out there, so maybe it'll bring a few people in, but I don't think it will be the one that cuts them through. I think that's what that's in response to. It won't cut them through, but it is very well done. Edge Crusher 555 has gone, love Mastodon, but struggling with the album. All said the same when Emperor of Sound, so we'll keep giving it a listen. If you're still with us, I'm not sure if you commented later on, let us know how you're up to with Emperor of Sand now, because I reckon that's a stunningly good album as well. But I can see why people that love the old stuff might not be as into this one. But it is one of those ones where if you give it the time, I think it's well and truly rewarding. So even if it doesn't grab you on the first pass as a fan now, give it time. I reckon it will definitely do so. But yeah, let us know where you're at with Emperor of Sand by comparison. Like you started off struggling and then where you finish with it. So I reckon this is one of those ones where even if you struggle now, you'll come back later on and it'll be seductive. Do you think the same thing, Dave? There? Do you reckon that'll be the case?
Yeah, I reckon it'll definitely grow on you. It certainly needs a few bins to fully appreciate everything that goes in.
Yeah, and give it a good listen to, like with headphones or a good system, and actually sit down for the hour and a half and take it in properly. There's a lot going on that it's rewarding for that listen as well. Andrew's gone, well, that's my post-storm garden cleanup playlist sorted for tomorrow. Awesome. Well done there. Jeff's gone, I was a Johnny come lately to Mastodon as well. I started very late in their career and worked my way backwards. I could see how they evolved in reverse, and I much prefer the newer stuff. Same for you and I think, Dave. Would you think?
Yeah, I think so too.
Cool. And Helen's gone, how brilliant that you hear the cello. It picked my ear and to love the nuance, and I always think I'm the only one who hears this. No, not the only one. You ask these guys, I'm like, when it comes to the finer details and what I listen to, I'm fucking anal on shit. That's just fucking no one else picks up, but that's what I'm like. And Edge's replies are awesome. Thank you. He's gone, love Emperor, been a long time fan. Awesome. Cool. Hopefully this one grows in you. I think it will, but I hope this one does the same as well. Pretty confident it will, but we'll see how it goes. We'll be in touch. Let us know by the end of the year what you sort of think of it at that point in time. But I think, is there anything else you want to say on the album before we start the wrap up, Dave?
My review was quite long. I think I'll shut up.
I think you and I both waxed lyrical about that one for quite a bit. What do we got here? Oh, here we go. So Lee's gone, a cool guy from Chicago was on my Egypt cruise. We drank all night, listened to metal. Interesting side note, the following morning hungover, I jumped into the water to freshen up, and while waiting in the Nile, lost my wedding band, angry wife for the rest of the day. Wow, man. That's a story. All right. Well done. I love this. I like this. This is what I love about this sort of shit, getting these fucking little stories coming through. Awesome. That's a cool one. Thanks for sharing that with us. Really do appreciate it. All right. We're going to move on. We're going to start doing the wrap-up now. So please make sure you like, follow, comment, share, subscribe. All the usual. Everyone gets to do the same thing, I know it, but we're going to do the same thing because everyone has to do it anyway. So please do that. All the details you need for us are in the post, description, whatever else you want to tune in. So if you're watching live with us now or later on you're tuning in, be it audio or watching on repeat, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Just give us any of those things. The details are in the post or the description of this episode. And a big thank you, of course, to our fantastic sponsors in Squidding, Screen Printing, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Their details, just like ours, are in the description of the post of this one as well. So please find them, give them a follow to show them just a little bit of love for the help they give us here at the show. A big thank you to our Patreon supporters as well. So our shout-outs go to Tim Caterson, Lee McDonald, who's here tonight, obviously, Sonia Donabella, 16x9, Beck Mitchell, Carolyn Mallet, Jason Winch, Marty Powell, Sam Biondo, Trash Vegas, Andrew Heyman, Brendan Ellison, Daniel Bateman, Gwyneth Richards, Man Family as well. I'm looking for... That's a weird one. Hold on. Give me a moment here. Andrew Marshall, he should be on that list as well. I don't know why he's not, but Andrew Marshall, I'm going to add you to the list now so it doesn't get lost. What the fuck? I don't know how that didn't go through. But anyway, Andrew Marshall, big thank you to you as well. A special thank you to you. You've been with us for a while. And also, if you'd be so kind, on the Patreon page, we're plugging the $2 thing. So it's like the swear box kind of a thing, which comes from an old prop on the set. If you want to help us out with just a couple of bucks a month, it's literally like $2 a month. I'll give you like a list every day which has up to like 10 tracks of music on it that comes through the inbox for us here. You'll get like 50 plus new bits of music, or at least information to keep up to date with things that you won't hear anywhere else pretty much through our little inbox. So check it out. If you'd be so kind, it'd be really, really nice for you to give us some help there. There's other tiers as well if you want to check it out, but that'd be fantastic. And also, if you don't want to do that, that's cool. Check out our Hot Rockin' playlist on Spotify then. That'd be great. It's in the comments now. It's also in the description, I believe. If not, find us on Spotify. That profile is there. Find that playlist and follow that too. That's where we put a lot of the stuff that comes through to us, and not everything, but some of it goes on there, and it's just a good way to keep up that what's going on. If we can get that playlist to grow, it's one of those things that helps us to become more prominent in the world and gets the word out about these awesome bands we get through to us here at the show. But that's it for now. Our next special is to do with Motley Crue. That'll be the end of November, which we've just started the first off now. We've just finished the bits and pieces just about for the Slipknot special, and there's other stuff going on. But then after we do Motley Crue in November, it's all into the silly season. There's a lot of stuff planned for that. It's going to be really important to follow us online to get up to date with everything going on in that space. So please do follow us for that one as well, because the Christmas stuff is going to be nuts. We've got like the top 10s of the year, top 10s of the decade. We're going to do a Torture special as well. There's a lot going on for December. It's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for all the information there. And our next stream is on Thursday night at about 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. We're going to be talking about Lucifer, John 5, and Armored Saint, a classic album from them going back in the day. Check us out on television as well, 10 p.m. Thursday night on Channel 44 in Adelaide, 10:30 p.m. Saturday night on Channel 31 in Melbourne. You get a different broadcast from us. It's all to do with just music on those ones, with a bunch of banter going forth between all of us here. So please do check out those broadcasts as well, and they are available with a live stream link on both of the channel networks as well at the same time. But that brings us toward the end of proceedings. I've got the usual stuff out of the way. Before we get to the bin, we'll get to the comments here. So Helen's gone, thank you for being articulate, fellas. It means a lot to me, the ultimate enthusiast. I'm glad we entertain you as well there. Yeah. Nicole, good to see you here as well. She's gone, thanks, all great and interesting as usual. Thank you for tuning in. Good to have you with us tonight. And Helen's gone, swear box. Fuck that. Okay. Yeah. Well, hang on. Lee's gone, glad you're not reviewing the new Limp Bizkit on Thursday. We've had a chat about that album. We'll see how we go with that one. We might do a pop-up thing. Lee, you'll know if we do it. You'll know in advance if we do make this happen. We might do a little pop-up random stream with no promo. Just pop up and do it randomly, because we've kicked that band a lot over the years, especially you and I, Dave. And so we figured it might be just give it a bit of a shot with a one-off. But we'll try and get both sides coming. We're aiming to have at least you, me, Brendan, and Tim involved in that one just to give it a bit of a balance. You and I are both on the same page, but we know the other two guys are going to love it. So you're going to get this digital punch on over that album, possibly very, very soon. Not a promise, but we're hoping we'll see if we can do something with that in that space. But all the details are there now. Make sure you follow it and keep up to date with us for all the stuff that's going to go on. Now it's time for our favorite part of the week, Dave, or any episode we do, whatever it is, whether it's TV or not. And that is time for the bin. So what are you putting in the bin?
I am putting comments on music pages in Facebook. Blabbermouth, LimeWire, fucking Tone Deaf. There is some absolutely stupid, selfish, ridiculous comments going through. I've just decided to stop reading like news services, not reading the comments. Just read the story and stop being a fucking idiot in the bin.
Yep. Cool. Nice and to the point. That's it?
Yep, that's it.
Yep. No, beautiful. All right. Mine's going to be pretty short and to the point as well. And one, I'm happy to put in the bin. The other one deserves to go in the bin well and truly. First is Tim Smith, the politician. Not only should you be fucking gone from shadow cabinet, you should be out of parliament. You don't drink to the point where you're nearly 3 times the legal limit, stack your car into a house and crack the wall of a kid's bedroom, you fucking prick, and think you deserve to be in parliament. Get in there. Fuck off for life. That's it for you. If people of Q vote that prick back in again, there's something wrong with that entire fucking area. And the other one, while I'm binning people, I'm a bit serious tonight, is Jordan DeGoey. Fuck off. I'm a big Collingwood fan, but that's enough from you, mate. In the bin. You're done. AFL should deregister you. It's your 3rd fucking nightclub punch on or something like that. You've now been accused of groping someone, and you've already had sexual assault charges dropped against you. That's enough. You're in here. You can fuck off now. I want nothing to do with you. Just get in there. I don't care if you're a good fucking player. Just fucking... And no club should pick him up. That's why I deregister him. AFL should just fucking be done with him. Yeah, that's enough of that for mine. Fuck me, dead. I don't care if you're a footballer. No tolerance for that anymore from mine. Yeah, but Dim Tim as well. Fuck me. To have a state elected representative be nearly 3 times the legal limit on booze and stack his car into it. He hit on a straight road. The dude hit a parked car and a fence and crashed into a house and nearly went into a kid's bedroom. So fucking prick. No time for it. He should be done. But anyway, let's go to some comments here to make it a bit lighter. What are we going here? What do we got here? So Connor's got that as a big kick. They suck balls when it comes to Limp Bizkit. Like I said, you'll all get the digital punch on very, very soon. Edge Crusher, March of the Saints. We'll be listening on Thursday. Awesome. Thank you for joining us in advance. Lee's gone. They do an NXS cover on the album. I haven't seen it being posted. I haven't listened to it yet. Have you heard the NXS? You have?
I know they did it. I know they did it. And there's no.
I haven't heard it yet myself, so I'm scared to hear that one, but I haven't heard it yet. Helen's gone, oi, last word. We'll have a face-off on your Spotify playlist versus mine. Happy to do it, Helen. Andrew's gone, the only upside to working from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. I get to listen or watch your live stream, so at least there's a perk for you. I'm glad you're tuning into us, mate. I'm you missed these for a while, so it's good to see you here. Keith's gone, suck shit, Dim Tim, and I think that's all how we feel. If it wasn't so fucking dangerous, it would be hilarious. Nude's gone, I think my family will put me in the bin. I'm going to start learning harmonica. I'm glad you're in South Australia. I'll put it that way.
That's Neil Young happening.
Oh, man, it'd be better because I love the bags and pipes. Family come from Scotland and that, so I love bags and pipes. My entire family, wife and kids, hate that fucking shit. So that's why they don't like pirate metal. They don't like bagpipes. It's like I should fucking learn that just to be a troll in my family, but I won't because I like sleeping where I sleep.
Pirate metal rules, man.
It does, man. Do a special on that one day. At some point. Fuck, we've got so many specials to do. We've got so many to do. We're not done. We've been going for 10 years now. I can see us going for like another 20 at least. I think there's heaps to go. Easily. We're not going to be done for a while, I think. Ernie's gone, good bin sesh. I agree with all of it. Thank you for the support there. And Sumaleth has gone, Tim Smith is a bin given how much rubbish comes out of his mouth. I completely concur with that one as well. There's a reason why he's called Dim Tim. Oh, here we go. Andrew's gone, my sister used to play bagpipes. Awesome. Nice. Got some. It's going to keep going. Helen's gone, I've seen NXS 100 times during the 80s hosting a New Year's Eve party for the lads. No more covers. Awesome. Very well done. Here we go. Sally's gone, love bagpipes. In the blood or not, no middle ground. It is a no middle ground kind of thing. I'm assuming you like pipes as well, Dave?
Yeah. Hill and pipes, not which use them a lot.
Can you listen to just outright pipes though from the Highland tunes? Can you listen to those at all or not?
I wouldn't go out of my way to do it, but I wouldn't walk away if it was there. If Bon Scott can do it, it's good enough for anyone.
Good point. I'm the other way around. I will actually seek this stuff out. I used to love watching the Edinburgh Tattoo with my dad and stuff when we were younger. So that was something we used to do all the time. So it's something that I've grown up around a lot. So for me, it's one of those things where I know it's an acquired taste for a lot of people out there, but for me, I love it to bits. Well, here we go. Sally's gone. Check out Clanadonia Killer. Okay, I don't know that one. I'll have to go and check it out. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Good pickup. All right. Is there anything else you want to do here, or are we going to get out of here for the night, Dave?
Yeah, I think we're done.
We're done. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back again very, very soon. Thank you for getting involved in the comments. That's what we love about doing these live streams. So spread the word, check it out, and share it around, and we'll be back again very, very soon. If nothing else, on Thursday night with another stream. We'll hopefully try and do a little bonus one between now and then. We'll keep you all posted. Or not. I don't know. Follow us. You'll find out. Could be a surprise. Anyway, quickly before we go, Nicole has gone, love the bagpipes, and yep, Scottish heritage as well happens for everyone. Andrew's got, my brother-in-law's best mate was in the police pipe band that won at Edinburgh. That's fucking cool. That's awesome. Sally's gone, thanks, guys. Helen's gone, I love the bagpipes. Check out all them witches. Nice one there as well. All right, but we are going to get out of here. Please keep the comments coming, but we'll get back to them later on. For now, though, thank you for tuning in. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
Until next time, drink up
and rock on.
Yeah, that one. We fucked it. I fucked it up for us all. But yeah, we'll get out of here. That's on me, that one. Awesome. Thank you all. We'll see you again very, very soon.